All right. Peace and blessings, family. How y'all doing this
Say,
morning, yays?
I'm doing great.
Yes. Yeah. And I'm doing great. So we're good.
Right on, right on.
We're
So
breathing.
that's that. You ain't never lied. Today, we're going to talk about prayer. What is the essence of prayer?
It's the essence of prayer is having a conversation with Oludumare, God, or as Iya has said during this week, the God of your understanding. Meditation is listening. So you actually have to have a twofold component
Okay.
of prayer and meditation. And that's the essence of it for me.
Hmm. I would just offer that prayer, when you really get right down to it, is a conversation that you have with yourself,
Hmm.
because you and Olodumare, or the God of your understanding, you are one. You're one. So when we pray to something outside of ourselves, but in actuality, we're praying to that which is within. Um, so that would be my def. And it's really talking to the God that is within you.
Okay.
Okay.
So, with that being said, when you pray, do you just? And this is probably going to sound like a silly question, but I get this a lot sometimes with young people because people always say, "Just go pray," but I think
Hmm.
some don't really know what that really means.
I think that they're saying to you to just go have a conversation with God. It hears you. Oludumare hears you. So that's where your answer lays, not in something that is extraneous and not being that's extraneous, that's not really there. So people tell you just go pray. It's gonna be, it's your catch-all stuff, your catch-all words of what they think will be the answer because they don't have the answer. And I think that's what they're also telling you is that they don't have the answer other than that's the answer. Go talk to something outside of yourself because I can't answer you. I don't have that answer for you.
Mm.
And of course, as I said, for me, prayer is going within. So the answer is always there, and you always have it. Just like what's the name in the Wiz, Dorothy.
Uh,
She always had it. It's
Sure do.
always there. We have that genetic memory. We have it within our DNA. We just have to tap into it. But prayer is so much more than, well, no, prayer has more components to it than just speaking. You got to listen, and you have to speak from a place of integrity with as pure a heart as you can have at this point in your journey, because none of us are perfect. So there are more components and pieces and aspects of prayer than just speaking. Uh, just speaking. You definitely have to listen, and you have to then have patience
mm.
and work work your show. Do the work. It ain't no sense in asking God to help you get out of the storm that you're in if you ain't gonna do what needs to be done yourself to get you out of the storm. He'll make a way for you. He, she, it will make a way for you, but there's work that you have to do as well. So, so prayer has a lot. There, it's a lot to it.
Right on. Right on. If I'm older, we're talking about what is prayer and what is prayer for you.
Um, Oh, that's a good question. Um, wow. Well, I put to you like this. I used to do when I was younger. I did a lot of petitioning. Oh, please give me blah blah blah. Please give me this. Please give. But I found
Fumi
that,
Alapia, Fumi Aiku, Fumi Awo.
but I found that even though a lot of those prayers were answered, like it wasn't consistent enough for me. Like, and so I like Ia said, I like to meditate, or at least get silent enough, sit in the silence long enough to kind of raise my vibration to a level where I'm not begging, or I'm not talking to whoever I'm praying to, whether it's Egun, Orisha, or just my Ori. And I'm not coming from a place of what I don't have or what I don't like, that I can be more affirmative in my approach. And so for me, prayer is about a time of giving thanks. I mean, my name is Ifama Dupe. And I always say that gratitude is my superpower. If I can get my head on right and be grateful, then I can pretty much manifest most things that I put my mind to that are for me. And so that's where I always start with gratitude, bringing myself to a place of gratitude, not thankful for one thing or overcoming something, but just a space of gratitude. Like, you feel that in your body, you feel it in your heart, you feel it in your head. It just brings everything into alignment, and then just giving praise. And I can just mention what it is, and then I can let it go in that space. Now, that's the ideal situation. Now, every now and then, I will be laying in the floor crying, talking about, oh, I really wish I had, talking to my grandmother, pouring liquor for my uncle, and doing all kinds of stuff. I still do that, and it works too. So, taking nothing away from a petition, but just saying that ideally I like to enter the space of prayer, so that, like, in what order is that? O'Shea Tour, it talks about the earthworm going into heaven. And the first thing that his father says is, what is that smell?
It's a human being.
Yeah. I try not to bring too much of my smell into heaven. Like that. So there's a sister on here saying, I saw my elders constantly turn to prayer as well as fasting and prayer. I understand that faith without works is dead. Directing the question to the elders, how long should an answer to prayer take? Not pushing, putting a rush on things, but I'm asking so that I will know if I did my prayers in the right way.
Okay. We have to remember now, depending upon the system, religious system that you're coming from, and the spiritual system that you're coming from, that things come in their own time. There can be one person who has a destiny where things will come in their lifetime in an earlier time, okay? That from their youth all the way into their 20s, they will have this wonderful, wonderful array goodness going on in their life. Then in their middle life and their older years, they will have more struggle. These are things that were chosen in heaven. Okay. The idea is that there's also, you have to think about, what is prayer teaching you? Prayer is teaching you to be patient, to be humble, to be in gratitude, to be benevolent and compassionate, because you're not just praying about what you're going to get, you're also praying for the education. Teach me, show me how to be a better person, lift me up so that I can see the better part of human being. Okay, because often our answers to our prayers are not coming just from the divine, but the divine is working through some people in order for you to get your answer. So you sometimes you have to look at the situation where you waiting on and impatience, waiting for that person to be able to bring that thing to you. You waiting on an opportunity for a job. Well, somebody might have to leave the job in order for you to get the job that you're supposed to have. You have to think outside of that. Prayer is teaching you more than just what you want. Prayer is teaching you how to be as well. That's why I said there's other components to it, such as you also have to listen. Prayer teaches you to speak, and you also have to listen to that, and that's what meditation comes in and brings to you, where you get still. I don't say just quiet, but being still so you can hear what they're saying to you.
That's right. That's right.
Unmute yourself.
I said, anybody, thank you. Yeah. Anybody want to add on to that?
To no. um, no, I'll go ahead, Ifa Madupwe. Go ahead.
Well, the only thing I was gonna say is what Yeye said brought to mind was that we're not praying for for God. You're not praying for whoever you praying to. You praying for you, because in prayer is where we have the opportunity to change our perspective, to refine our perception of the situation. You pray till you feel better, because in most cases what you're asking for is already on the way to you. If everything is clear, you know what I mean, and it's meant for you, then it's already on the way to you. You was gonna get that anyway. That's why suddenly you want it. Most things that we desire with great, zeal is not because we came up with that. Like, I want that, and I don't even know why. I mean, outside of some of the things that, and so it's like, it's also calling to you while you're calling to it. And it's really bringing yourself to the place where you can receive it. So the prayer is so that you become a receptive space for that thing, because it's energetic before it's physical.
Absolutely.
Everything seen comes from something unseen. So it has an energy to it. You can draw that energy to you, but you got to be in the space to receive it. And so that's really, to me, how you pray to get something is almost not praying for it. It's praying for yourself to see more clearly. 90% to me of everything is clarity. Because when you don't have no clarity, like, I'll give you an example, a personal example, although I hate to use myself as an example. I got to read, if I said it's a whole bunch of stuff you want, just be still. Just stop doing what you're doing, because you're going to mess it up. You're doing too much. You're doing too much. You need to learn how to be patient and hopeful. And then we were on the call the other day, and you said patience is the father of good character. And I was like, yep, so that means sit down, won't do play. Stop it.
Actually, the truth is, prayer is not prayer, but patience is the first grandchild of Oludumare. Just to, throw something of the cosmology in there. That it is a deity, And so we have to think about what that means as well too.
Yes.
Patience is not being complacent. Patience is actually in its own right an action word. It
Mm-hmm.
means that you are working
Yes.
towards, and yes, you are being still, but in being still, it don't mean you ain't going to work. It don't mean that you
Right.
ain't doing things around the house. It means that you're taking your mind off of the issue at hand and allowing that download to come in, allowing yourself to be not on it but with it
Yeah.
and open to it.
Yeah. I say it's an
Yeah.
inner stillness, like that lets you
Yeah.
line everything up
Mm-hmm.
without. It's, you can't force that into happening. Like we try to push and push and push on things, and so we pray hard. I want it so bad.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's, you know,
Yeah.
so
But
that's
there,
not gonna work.
there, there are certain things that you're not supposed to have, or
Yeah.
you're not supposed to have them yet.
Hmm.
And you're really being saved from your own folly. So
Hmm.
when I pray, when I remember during my prayers, I always say, in my best interest and the best interest of all who are involved, because I might want him, but he don't want me. And if I knew about him what he knows about him, I wouldn't want him either.
Right.
So,
Okay, that just put a new twist on life. Okay.
And that could be true
I
of a
gotta sit up
job.
on that
That can be true of a house. That can be true of a car. That
Yep.
can be true of a
exactly.
lot of
That's so
things.
true.
You might have your eye on a car and find out after you didn't
It's a
get it
limit.
that almost every part on that car was recalled.
Yes,
So you
yes,
would have spent your life running back and forth to the mechanic if you had gotten
yes.
what you.
one.
Yep, yep. Oh, there's so many things. That's why we must trust. We must have trust in Olodumare. We must have trust in our Orisha and our ancestors. And most of all, we must have trust in ourselves. We have to learn how to trust ourselves and realize that there are things that we're not supposed to have. Those things will come if they're good for us, but if they're not, let them go. We don't have to have everything that we want. And yeah, you said earlier that when you were giving an example, you said in your 20s, things come to you. And
Mhm.
then when you get to midlife, things get rocky. And that was speaking to me, that spoke to me so well, because things were on a personal note.
Mhm.
Things have been lovely, 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 lovely all the way through. I mean, you have issues and
Mhm.
problems and things, but you walk through it. And
Right.
you always say, if I got through that, I can get through this. And if I got through that one, I can get through this. But I want to tell you, there came a time for me when I got stripped down bare to the bone, to the bone, everything on every front, primarily my health. And so that's when I really came to understand that if you want to do some work, sometimes you got to be stripped down to the bone for spirit
Mhm.
to enter and build you back up, block by block, cell by cell, step by step. And
Well,
you never know when that is going to enter your life. If you're lucky, it'll enter. It's not fun to go through, but if it's
mhm.
lucky, it will enter. You'll be stripped down, and it will challenge your resolve. It'll challenge your resolve. All the stuff you've been talking about, Now it's time to put it into action. Can you do it?
This is when you think about it from this perspective, that in Obey talks about destiny, and it talks about um, many of those things, like, and I shared that and talk about personal disclosure. My Odu specifically talks about, yeah, life is going to be okay in the beginning, but you're not going to get your the best of your array until you're in your elder years, right? So when you're hearing that, I'm like, hold up, partner. You know, what's up with this? You know, well, what you mean? And
Yeah.
what I didn't get, you know, because I'm hearing peripherally. You know,
Right.
I'm
Mhm.
seeing peripherally. I'm not looking and delving into the bigger picture. See, we have a blueprint. We got a blueprint called OD. And in that, it gives you patterns of things that are yours that you chose in heaven and that you can bring into your life. It's saying to me that if you are, when you go through a certain time and you're having trouble, you go back to Wi-Fi and say, okay, this one of these times, I'm praying, I'm getting ready to do elbow, and I'm going to follow the directives. Okay?
Mhm.
Ease me over this time. Okay? And it happens. But I had to go through it in order to learn that I had to do that. Because didn't nobody come and say, oh, that's what you're supposed to do. It came out of me dealing with, I don't like the way this feels. So let me find out what's going on. And so I
Yeah.
started studying and I started getting deeper and deeper spiritually because that actually was my nature. Okay.
Mhm.
I'd
Mhm.
always been that kid that, you know, I'd had the kid that had the devil on one side and the angel on the other kind of attitude, you know.
Mhm.
So, and a lot of times I listen more to the other side saying, you know, you feel you a lot of fun. Okay. And I kind of like you. So let's see if this works, you know, and it didn't work out for me. Okay. So you figure out that maybe there's something better.
Yeah.
So what I'm saying is that each one of us have our own personal blueprint. And your own personal blueprint has a way for you to access spiritual uh, resources so that you are able to bring them out in times of need. Okay? So if you know that, that's why we deal with E5 the way that we do. You know, that's why we deal with Orisha the way that we do. Because there's a plan, an action plan in place that will get us through it. So
Mhm.
we have all these little acumens of, you know, and sayings and metaphors that tell you, oh, you know, be patient, be this, be that, be humble. When sometimes you don't feel like it. Sometimes you're not gonna feel like getting up and praying. Okay.
Yeah.
But there are those times when and that's okay. In truth, that is okay because you're human. Sometimes
Mhm.
you have to get to a place where that challenge is meeting you. Challenges are difficult. They're supposed to be difficult, but they're supposed to make you that piece of charcoal into that diamond, that
Mhm.
spiritual diamond. That's who you're supposed to be. So yes, you went through that and you go through those things and you go through health challenges and you go through financial difficulties and you go through men problems and women problems and whatever problems and children problems and all of that. But at the end of the day, you're going to be more than that. You're
Mhm.
going to be greater than that because you're doing what was told to you to do and it's in your blueprint
Yeah.
called Odui Fa.
Yeah.
Okay. So that's why we
Yeah.
do this. All right.
Ifa is my comfort. Ifa brings me joy and peace. Ifa has mapped out. We have mapped out together what I am to do and where I am to go and who I am to be. And so I can stand in that knowing of Ifa and be at perfect peace. That's what you just said to me.
Mm-hmm.
So after you pray, what should you be looking for or paying attention to? Because I think that's the other thing. You pray, you go through,
Everything.
whatever. But then there are,
Attention to everything.
huh? What you
Pay
say?
attention to everything, but through your own eyes. In other words, don't start. Some people are reaching for things because they prayed for them, and they get all focused outside of themselves. Don't leave your temple looking for something else. You stay in your body. In your body. And just notice everything. You should just be living, like, but not living from the place of, oh, I don't got it, but living from the place like, it's coming to you, but you got to feel that. And it takes prayer usually to get you to that place to where you really know that it's all good, whether it's coming or don't come. Some better could come. You know what I mean? And I always say, when I finish asking for something, I want this or something better.
Something better, yeah.
It doesn't have to be this. You know what I mean? And so that's why I got to pay attention, because the something better could come, and I'm looking for the thing that I asked for, and I'm like, oh, I don't want that.
Yeah.
You might have to go back and ask and say, hey, is this, okay, I know I asked for this job, and then they offered me this job. Is this the job?
Yeah.
But what happens too, let me ask this with you all. What happens when what we're asking for is not necessarily a thing, a job, a place to be, but a state of being? Okay? Because, as a priest and a leader, I have to look at more than just, oh, I want another house. Oh, I want a better car. I have to look at, what am I building here? What is my legacy? Okay. What am I leaving as a legacy, a fundamental foundation of what I think is supposed to be something that will be greater for my children, spiritual as well as my natal born children, to be able to take down 7 generations. Because I might have to come back to them, So I want to, we got to ask that other question. We got to think. But what is our legacy in asking this of Olodumare and Ifa? One of the things that Arumula did in Obelar, he wanted to know what was success, what was goodness, what was the, what makes things move in the world. Okay, because Arumula wasn't, he knew he was going to get wives, he knew he was going to get money, he knew he was going to get all these things, just be patient, and do what he's supposed to do, he going to get that. But what made Arumula unique was he asked those deeper questions. And where was that going to take place? What am I leaving here? What's my legacy here? My people need goodness. They need Iray, all kinds of Iray. So how am I going to teach them how to get it? So we have to ask ourselves, what are those deeper things that we are supposed to have as well? And then how you look for that. How do you look for, I need to be more humble? And I know that as a soldier, if I'm going to ask for peace, war coming my way. Okay? So if I'm asking for humility, I know to challenge me into life, I'm going to have somebody disrespect me.
Mhm. Mhm.
Okay? Can I be humble being a triple Aries, a child of Shango? Okay?
No, no.
Okay? And somebody come and disrespect me and think I ain't going to say nothing to them? I ain't going to cut them? Okay? So we got to think about those things, those deeper things. What's our legacy?
Yeah.
Okay?
Mhm.
And what are we going to do about it? Now, because those are some of the things I think about. And in prayer, I asked for it. And when I started getting the, oh God, magnitude disrespect, and I remember feeling when I got it, just for personal disclosure, when I got that mad disrespect, I felt those spirits come around me like cold wind come around me. And I'm like, y'all know I want to whoop that. You know I want to whoop that. Hold me, because if you let me go, I'm gonna kill him. I'm gonna kill him dead. I reminded me of Sophie in The Color Purple with
Right.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
you know. I was born in a home full of men, you know. And so these are things that you also have to counsel your prayer. That if and understand the words that you use are going to be the words that come back at you.
Yes, yes.
Okay?
Mhm.
So when you are asking for these things, benevolence, compassion, love, joy, don't ever forget that you're also asking for the challenges that come with that to
Yes.
make it more alive, enlivened and emboldened in your life. Because if
Mhm.
you really want it, then you're going to have to really understand all the components to it.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah.
So you're not really looking outside. You're looking at how to strengthen yourself inside. You got to dig deeper. When we can dig deeper, we're doing better.
Mhm.
Yeah. So that's my question to you all is think about that. Okay.
Oh, I'm with you on that 100%. If you ask for humility, you know that there's going to be a challenge to your pride.
Mm-hmm.
Are you able to step back and stand in your humility
Mm-hmm.
instead of standing in your pride? Can you do that? And the same for everything else. And you say, what is my legacy? Um, the legacy, you build your legacy minute by minute, really. I was going to say on a daily basis, but it's minute by minute. Everything that you do leaves a legacy, not what you say or how you say it,
Mm-hmm.
but the life that you live and what you do on a consistent basis. That is what puts forth to those who know you, who love you, and the world, your legacy. Um, that's a really great point, Yay, that when we pray, it's for other things besides we think of, those things, a car, a house,
Mm-hmm.
all of that. But really, it's praying so that we can be a better or the best that we can be in this
Mm-hmm.
particular lifetime, and that you will help me to learn the lessons in this lifetime
Right.
so that I can elevate and I don't have to come back here anymore, please.
But you chose it, we chose it. We thought it looked pretty good from up above and below, rather. We thought it looked good.
I know, but I got to tell you, yeah. Sometimes I think to myself, I say, I know I chose this issue. I chose to be here. I know. I said, but what the hell made me do that? Why, why didn't I learn that the last time I was here? But then you answer your question and you know that it's
Mhm.
because there are things that you have to learn in this lifetime if you want to move on. So,
Right.
yeah.
When you pray, are there sacrifices that have to be made after
Oh,
Yeah.
prayer?
yeah.
How does that
Okay.
work?
I would, again, in my neck of the woods, prayer, sacrifice, follow the directives. You know.
Mm-hmm.
Now,
Mm-hmm.
sacrifice is also things that you give up in behaviors. Okay? Saying because if I am a selfish, self-centered, jealous natured person,
Narcissist.
narcissistic, love that word.
Me
Okay?
too.
It's everybody's fault but mine. Okay? you know, and I'm praying. Okay? I got to give, if I was going to tell me straight up, there are things in your character you got to give up.
Mm-hmm.
You can't
Mm-hmm.
lie to yourself.
Mm.
First off, you have to be open. You have to be truthful. You have to be humble, you know? And you sitting up there saying, why do I have to be all these things? Because it's their fault, not mine. Okay. You're also asking to chip away. That toolbox is going to come at you, especially if you're praying. Because the thing of it is that whether we are praying to the overall Olodumare or to our Ori, prayer is always answered. One way or the other, prayer is always answered. And
That's
when that
true.
answer comes, that narcissistic personality is going to have the challenges of a lifetime.
Mm.
They will be taken down to their very knees, not because something else outside of them did it, because they did it. They did it to themselves. 90% of, if we ever just sit back and look at some of the things that happen in your lifetime, can you actually sit there and say that it was all somebody else's fault and not yours?
Mm-mm.
It's about your choices.
Mm-hmm.
So prayer also ignites that activity to come back into your life. Ain't nothing like a mirror, and I love Ashu. I swear I love Arisha Ashu because that communicator, that deity of divine justice comes back and say, "You see this mirror? This you." And when it puts itself in front of that narcissistic personality, it's saying all that it is.
Mm.
And sometimes they get it and they have to break down and accept who they are with love. Because that's it. You got to first come back and say, you know what? If they're accepting of this, if they're making a decision and a choice to change and give up those negative off path types of behaviors, okay, then they're going to have to accept all that they did with love.
Mm.
Because in loving who you are, good, bad, ugly, you're
Mm-hmm.
saying, I did it. Please forgive me. And how can I make this whole
Yeah.
again?
Wow.
Because we always, here's a word we have not said tonight, atonement. How do
Oh.
you atone for this stuff that we do out here?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Sometimes the things you don't get is because of the things you ain't atoned for.
True.
That's something to think about.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
That's deep.
Yeah.
We're going to get to atonement real quick. Sister Abba Scott says, years ago, not long after initiation to Oshun, I prayed to be shown the things within myself that I needed to heal. She said, what follows was a series of hurts and pains. I forgot about my prayer. When I remembered, I realized my prayer was being answered, but it didn't come looking like I thought it would look.
She was looking outside herself, only to find out that she had prayed for and got what she had asked for.
Oh, yeah.
Right on.
Yeah.
And it's interesting because Oshun with those mirrors, the beauty of what Oshun does is that she brings you to this woven. She helps you to weave personality, to take strings out and to weave things in and to comb things through and to see you for who you are. I love the way that she can, well, need to say I have Oshun, but but I love the way that she can get to that deeper psychology of you and make you come face to face with your stuff and lovingly help you to walk through it.
Yeah.
She don't let you go.
She
She
makes you
lets you
look.
walk through it. You gonna walk through it, but she's not gonna let you go. She's gonna help you clean up. She's gonna wash you up. She's gonna clean you through and through. And after that, she'll dance with you too.
That's what a mother does.
That's
That's
exactly
what a mother does. The mother
Absolutely.
makes you look in that mirror and see it, but she stands there with you. That's what we do. That's what we do when we give birth. We expand and we contract. We have those contractions and then we expand so that life can come forth. And
Absolutely.
we look it right in the face. She's a mother. Yeah, I got Oshun too. Yeah.
Oh yes.
Look at this atonement word. What does that mean? Because we had days of atonement. We've had, like sometimes we get a buzzword in our society and then we just break it down to where it don't even feel like it means nothing.
You know what? Making something whole when you have done wrong to it. Okay? See, somebody telling you, I'm so sorry for my behavior. Okay? Now, you can accept their apology, but when you look at it, your window's still broke. They didn't replace the window they broke. Okay? So you got to pay that $200 to have that window replaced.
Right on.
Ain't no atonement. So me forgiving you is just a tutelary, exercise. That's it. It's just a small exercise of a little bit of forgiveness. But me telling you, I do not accept your apology until you fix my window. Then we'll talk about it. You need to make me whole. And that's what we're not doing. We've gotten into this glossing over of stuff.
Yep, not
and that's the same thing. We can't do that either. If I have intentionally done something to someone, then when I'm called on it, I have to make atonement for what I did. Pure and simple.
Yeah.
What's going to make that person whole?
That's just what I was going to say. You have to make it whole. You have to regain balance because it's out of balance, and you have to make it whole. That, for me, atonement is getting back into balance, and it has to be the full picture. You gave the example of the broken window. Yeah, it has to include the replacement of the window in one way or another. If I can't afford the $200 right now and you get your window, I have to pay you.
You got to work it off.
Yeah, I got to pay you.
No, you going to have to work it off in my house.
Yeah, we're going. We have to come to some agreement. I give you $50 a week, or I clean the yard, or I cook you, or I make you one of those nice cheesecakes.
Yeah.
But you're gonna need a few cheesecakes for a $200 window.
Window, you know that's right. You know that's right. You know, and that's the thing, because that's what these are some of the key lessons that Ifa teaches, but I think that, and mostly Orisha, but I think that somewhere along the line, as it is part of the prayerful overall cosmology, the prayer cosmology, you have to think of, well, atonement is something that we have to include as teachers. We have to include this as well, because what we're trying to create ultimately is better people, better serviceable people that will be able to have strength and endurance in the world. So we have to be able to teach all the components of that. Prayer is a wonderful thing. That conversation with God is a wonderful, wonderful thing. Conversation with Orisha. Oh my goodness. Me and Shango have had many a good one. Okay. And each personality of them comes through. Okay. I'm telling you, I would rather take things sometimes to my father's rather than my mother's too, because they're gonna make you walk through that stuff, and they're gonna show you all the little nuances,
Mm-hmm.
They ain't gonna, they ain't gonna miss a lick on it. But they're gonna make you deal with your spiritual development. They're gonna make you come up with that. And that's the beauty of this system that we're in. We also, I think, if we're talking about prayer, we got to think about what is our listening tools here too. What are we, from prayer, are we looking at meditation? And how are we listening to spirit? What's that download like? Okay. Because sometimes our heads our outer head get in the way of the inner head trying to tell you something clear. Okay. Sometimes they got to go through a dream portal just to get you to listen. So we have to look at what are some of the things that help us to become better listeners. One of the things that I found in counseling is I end up doing, and I always felt that was one of my shortcomings, was I wanted to be a better listener. I wanted to be able to get the nuance of the conversation so that I can look at the key things that would help me help them in their healing process. So what are we doing when we're no longer in the prayer status and now we're in the meditative status? How are we getting that download? What are your, what are some methodologies that you might choose? Okay.
Well, right on. If I multiply, yesterday when we talked about prayer yesterday, you brought up a few things. And I want to make sure, did we cover some of those already?
Ifa multiply. You hear us?
She's on mute.
Oh, okay.
Oh,
can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay. What did I bring up? I forgot because this conversation got so good. I ain't remember yesterday.
But in terms of things you have to do after you do prayer.
But I did, huh?
You talked about some things you do after prayer.
Mm-hmm.
Offering, sacrifice. I mean, you talked about a lot of that yesterday on our, after the call.
After after the call.
After the live.
You were on a roll, girl.
It was.
What?
Mm.
See, that's how you know it ain't really me. Um,
I do
gotta write
spirit
down
what I
what
said.
what I say. I gotta write down what I say. Let me get this off my head before I go there. Our Ori is a Orisha. So when we greet each other as priests, it's like mandatory. Abaroba Boshishe, which is atonement, fulfillment, and salvation.
Mm-hmm.
And so we pray for each other in our greetings. And so that atonement piece is real big because I think it's something that's overlooked. I've never even heard anybody bring it up till today. That it is a major piece, and I think especially as women, we have to remember to say what the thing that's gonna make us whole.
Thank you.
We got to remember that. We have
Yes.
to know, you know what I mean? What do you need to make yourself whole, and then ask for it.
Mm-hmm.
And then that's all on that. But yeah, so after prayer, after you get through crying and slobbering and all the stuff, then wipe your nose, get up, and obey. Because if you heard something, obedience is almost better than sacrifice. If you give an earnest prayer and you obey, if you didn't have what you needed to give, like sometimes you don't have no money. That's your situation that you're in. And sometimes you be brought to that situation just to get your heart in the game.
Absolutely.
Oh,
We
yes.
can go through emotions all day. Protocol is a huge thing in African
Yes.
tradition. And if you get caught up in that, then you can get to the place where now it's all about your intellect. You saying what you remember, and it's not, your heart is not in it. But you talk about this is your real life. And when you start talking about legacy and building character and the steps that it takes to build character, and even like you're a communal priest, so you work with other people's real life problems. Like whatever it is, it's the world to them if they're gonna bring it to another person. It takes a lot for people to say exactly what's wrong with them and look for help. So these are all the things that we get to do afterwards. We get to be obedient. Stop whatever it is. It's okay if it's a practice. We might have a couple false starts. Sometimes, when you told to stop doing something that's become an addiction or a habit, you might have some false starts, and you have to get in the practice of that thing.
Absolutely.
You got to stay in it because this is your real life. It's not a game. And I mean, we say a lot of things anecdotally. Oh, you should forgive. Oh, you should do, But like you said, the forgiveness is just one piece of it. There's also the atonement piece.
Absolutely.
When somebody does something to you, you should be able to tell them what they need to do to make it whole, because that's a part of that's a spiritual principle that we uphold. That it's possible to atone for something that people do, and that everybody does stuff that's to the left. So if that's the case, then where you may need someone to also tell you what will make them whole, then you should be able to do that for others. So
yeah.
And,
that's what I was thinking as you were speaking, that the atonement, everything always goes two ways. All relationships are symbiotic. And so when I want to hear how you're going to atone for what you want me to forgive, I have to remember when I make a misstep, that I have to atone to someone else for whatever I did. And atonement sometimes is not easy. And I have to be willing to verbally say that, or come up with the action, But to have that conversation, there's sometimes very difficult conversations, and you need to have them more than once sometimes, because Sometimes people don't want to hear nothing you got to say, even including atonement. And you have to go back. You have to go back and say, you know, or your actions will sometimes speak louder than your words.
So true.
Yeah.
That is
I saw something today that struck me. It's just 4 words. Well, 5. To shape God, shape self. So if we want to shape God in our understanding, whatever that may be, we must shape ourselves in that same way. We must be all of the things that we want to leave as our legacy. That is shaping God within ourselves, and it shows God to other. I keep saying God, but God, Olodumare, whatever netter, whatever name we give to creative source in the Most High. We must shape ourselves in that light, if that is, if we want to leave a legacy.
So 2 comments. Sister Joy King says, obedience does not see age. You can be in your 60s and still be a child. Sit at your elders' feet. That is so true. That's probably gonna be me.
And actually, you don't even have to be sitting at your elders' feet. You can be sitting at the feet of someone who's younger than you, because I'm sitting at Ye's feet.
Donna says, may our prayers reach heaven, Aboru. May our prayers be accepted, Aboye. May our prayers manifest, all of us, the last word, ABOSISE.
Aboshishe.
Aboshishe. Thank you, Donna.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. Thank you.
But thank you for that. So as we wrap up today, because we're at noon, definitely got right on time. What are some things you want to leave people with when it comes to prayer?
I would say that before you pray about anything, think about it. Think about what you want. Think about what it is deeply that's going to make a change specifically in your life and the life of others that is on path with your destiny. One of the things that I say is that let this be in alignment with my destiny.
I share.
Okay? Because if it's not in alignment with my destiny, it's not going to be right for me. Because I'm following my destiny. Because that's the only path for me. So this is the thing that I'm finding when I'm praying about what's in alignment with my destiny. So the things that I want, I got to get inside of me for change. Because if you're not changing and doing better every day, you ain't doing.
Right.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Sister Joy King says that's where she is, at Ye's feet. He can't get rid of me. I think we all feel like that.
Mm-hmm.
No, that's right.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Oh, God.
Mm-hmm.
Anything else anyone want to leave?
I just leave with pray unceasingly. Pray all, but let your life be a prayer.
Walk and pray.
Yeah, let your life be a prayer. Everything that you do, it's not going to be right all the time, but it's always in the intention. It's always in the intention. So let your life be a prayer.
I'll share.
I share.
All right. Yay. Thank you so much for joining us. You have just been light and sunshine, and I'm loving it. No,
Thank
you're
you.
always welcome to join in with us. And I thank you so much. It's been a great 3 days just having your wisdom, your love present.
Mhm.
I have appreciated and I'm humbled by this. I really am. And it's been a giggle time too for me. I've loved it, especially after fighting with guinea fowls and other stuff.
But, oh
But
my,
it's been a blessing. It really has been a blessing, and you all have been a blessing to me. And I want to thank you all for being here and doing what you're doing in this community, because we need you to keep doing this so that our community grows and that it gets those spiritual building blocks going.
Mhm.
so y'all, we'll be back tomorrow. Tomorrow is Friday. Oh, wait a minute. You got a latecomer. LaDonna.
Oh,
Hey,
hi.
I was
Hi.
geez, I was just trying to come in the studio for the after party.
Get ready to be there right now. So y'all, I'll see y'all tomorrow. Peace and love, family. Hold on, y'all.
Bye. Mwah.
Bye.
Stay back
Oh,
to back.
double.
Word to firm. Okay, hold on.